Today we're going to be talking about dual expiry and dual touch. Now, if you know what a touch is and you know what an expiry is, then all a dual expiry and all a dual touch is two of the same thing. For instance, let's choose dual expiry. On this one, technically, you can get rid of the arrow because it doesn't matter. What we're looking at is we are looking for an area for price to close inside of. The arrows can just be used as markers, basically, because when a quote-unquote signal comes out, what we're looking for is how often does it close inside or outside of a certain area. Now, right now we're looking at, these are going to be 10 pip intervals, okay? So that means from the time, wherever the signal line comes out, 10 pips above, every 10 pips above, there's going to be another strike. We'll talk about that more in the future. But what we're looking at right now is every time a signal comes out, regardless of what the arrow says, how often is it going to close below here and above here? Or, on this signal, how often is it going to close below here or above here? It only does that 24% of the time. That would be, there's two types of terms you may hear. Butterflies and straddles, or strangles, condors, there's many different terms. I'm going to use butterflies and straddles because they're just names, whatever. Now, what we're looking for a straddle is for price to close either above this line or below this line at expiry. That's what we're looking for a straddle. For butterfly, we're just looking for the reverse. We want price to close inside, okay? So straddle, we want price to close outside of one of these two ranges. And butterfly, we want it to close inside. Okay, so here's how you can make money and lose money on either one of these. All right, so let's say we want to choose butterfly. And by the way, I'm saying butterfly loosely. Because when you start Googling the term, there's a lot of different concepts, yada yada. Okay, so why would we want price not to move? Well, if you are brand new to binary options, price does not have to move in order for you to make money. Price can even go against you, and you can still make money. Now, I'm not saying binary options are easy. They're not. No type of trading is easy, but these terms are very easy to understand. If price stays in the middle here and does not move, and that's what you want it to do, good, you make money. You do that by selling the upper strike and buying the lower strike. If you want price to move out of these ranges, because I know right now we don't have a very good probability that the price is going to stay in here. So if I want price to move out of these ranges, then I want to buy the upper strike and sell the lower strike. That is for, we're talking about expiries right now. That's a dual expiry. Pop quiz. We're going to pick another asset here, and I want you to tell me the probability that price is going to remain in between the first two levels here, which will be the blue or the orange. How often is price going to remain in between the first two levels on the USD yen? 23.57% of the time. Is that a good strategy to trade? No, you want to do a straddle, if anything, other than you don't want to do any type of butterfly on this strategy because you've got so much more of a probability of being profitable if you were to do a straddle. Now, the pricing, that will come later because you also have to take pricing into effect. But what if I want to see just how often price touches both of them? Not touches one, but touches both. Well, we can go in here to the parameters window, dual touch. Now this may look a little different than you're used to seeing. Let me get rid of this white bar here. Because it may not show all of the strikes. That's because it hasn't touched them. If you are going to look back in here and some of them look like they're missing, well, that's because they haven't been touched. It's just in a calculation here. So how often, when a signal comes out, does price touch both the first level in the money and the first level out of the money? How often does that happen? happens 58% of the time. That means when ding, when we get a little signal, that means 58% of the time price is not only going to touch this area, but it's also going to touch this area before expiry. 58% of the time. Now, 41% of the time it's not going to do that. And you may be looking on here and saying, well, I saw that it touched both, way up here and way down here on this signal. Well, that's only one signal, okay? That's not the majority of the time. The majority of the time, it doesn't even, 6% of the time, it goes all the way to what I call level 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Level 4 OTM, or all the way at the bottom on an, up signal. Or if we're looking at a down signal, it would be in reverse. But it does not do that very often, and we can tell that right off the bat. So we can tell how often it touches both lines. I'm going to do a little pop quiz. On the USD Swiss franc, how often does price touch level 3 OTM and ITM? Ding! There's my helper. This is level 3. Why? Because let's say the middle level is nothing. We're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's fourth level ITM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth level OTM. How about the third level? 1, 2, 3. Third level ITM. 1, 2, 3. Third level OTM. If you don't know what ITM and OTM and ATM stand for, go take the course. It's in your dashboard. And it'll explain all of that. You need to have the basics down first. So it happens about 8% of the time. If your percentages are different than mine, that means you have different historical values here. That means that you may not have all the downloaded data that I have. For instance, I have a lot of downloaded data for this pair, but maybe for Bitcoin, I don't have as much. So, and the strikes are going to be different for Bitcoin as well. Oh, it took a big old dump today, or over the past few hours. Look at there. Okay, so dual expiry will show you how often price expires inside two lines, and dual touch will show you how often price touches two lines.